Hey Maria, could we move this afternoon's meeting back? Sure. We talking hours, days, weeks? Just a few hours. Sure, let me look on the team's calendar. Looks like all but a couple people are free at 3. Does that work? Yeah, actually, we may have to start 1/2 and keep it short. So 3:30 to 4? No, I think we'll need a bit more slack than that. How about a 1/4 after? Okay, I'll send the update for 3:30 to 4:15. Great. I think Josie has to leave 5 minutes after 4, so could you give her a heads up that she should be first to present? Sure. Great, and also I'll need a few minutes with her tomorrow to touch base. You already have a meeting on the books at 10. That's great, but can we move that up to 9:30? I need to drive out to El Paso to meet a client by noon, and it'll be a long drive. I can ask her if it's something she can push and revert back. That's great. If she can't, then I won't be available till Thursday, somewhere in the late afternoon. Okay, will do. Thanks, Maria. You're golden. I know. Let's review. Move the meeting back. We're going to move the meeting a little later. We talking? You could also say, are we talking? Here the context is moving the meeting time. Since we're moving the meeting time, are we talking moving it in minutes, hours, days, weeks? So most of the team is free at 3. Free at 3. They're available to meet. At 3 is the specific time. When it's not necessary to specify whether it's an afternoon or morning time, we just say the number 3. You can also say 3 o'clock or just say 3. A big mistake you want to avoid is to use both o'clock and AM or PM. Avoid saying 3 o'clock PM or 3 PM o'clock. Choose one or the other. If you're going to say 3 o'clock, say 3 o'clock. If you want to say 3 p.m., say 3 p.m. There's a famous local market chain in America called AM/PM. You can go in any time of the day, as the name implies, AM or PM. You can pick up snacks, drinks, chips. They're usually located adjacent to a gas station. 1/2 and let's keep it short. 1/2 is short for 1/2 the hour. In other words, 30 minutes after the hour. We don't say 30 minutes after the hour. We say 1/2 the hour. And keep it short, meaning that the meeting will not be a long meeting. We'll need a bit more slack, meaning we're going to need a little more space or a little more time. In this context, we're talking about time. We'll need a bit more slack. 1/4 after the hour, 1/4 after 4. 1/4 implies 15 minutes. 1/4 after the hour implies 4:15. No, we'll need a bit more slack. In this context, we're talking about time. And instead of saying a little, we say a bit. I like to have a bit of sugar in my coffee. What about you? I like a bit of cinnamon. A bit of milk? Oh, just a splash is good for me. 5 after. 5 after is 5 minutes after. We leave out minutes. It's not necessary in the context. But if you were at the bus stop and there had been no ongoing conversation, if a stranger comes up to you and asks, "Do you have the time?" "Yes, it's 5 after 7. Thanks." You would want to include the hour, 5 after 7. Give them a heads up. A heads up is a notification. Notice it's similar to thumbs up, an expression when you approve of something. This one is to give a heads up. Give her a heads up. Give them a heads up. There's an expression. Heads up! which is used to get someone's attention. Heads up in a baseball game means that the ball is flying. You better look up or you're going to get hit. Heads up in the work floor means the boss or someone is going to give you something important. To give a heads up is to send out a notification. You might write an email to a colleague and say, "Hey Frank, just a heads up. I'll be out of office tomorrow." "Hey Frank, I'm notifying you that I'll be out of office tomorrow." Notice that we don't say the office, just out of office. "I'm out of office tomorrow." Thanks for the heads up. Just a heads up. We're all leaving early today. Just a heads up. Lunch is on me. Just a heads up. We'll be meeting in the break room in 20 minutes. Just a heads up. There's cake for Maria's birthday in the break room. By noon. By 12 p.m. Noon is a specific time. By noon means no later than 12 p.m. By noon means before 12, but implies no later than 12. Remember these prepositions for time. At is specific. At that exact time. After implies anything that comes after that specific time. After 12. Not at 12, but after 12. It could be 12:01 or any time after. Before. Before 12, but not at 12. Anything before 12 o'clock. By 12. By 12 means that you will do something before 12, maybe even at 12, but no later than 12. Think about the math symbols for equal, greater than, less than. At is equal. After is greater than. Before is less than. By can be less than and equal to. Move that one up. Or move it up. We're asking now for the time to be set earlier. If we have a meeting at 10 o'clock and I want to move it up, I want to make it earlier than 10 o'clock. It's the opposite of move it back. Move up, make it earlier or make it sooner. Move back, make it later. It could be on the same day or it could be another day or another week. Can push it. Push it. Push the meeting is equivalent to moving it. Push it back is to put it later, to move it back. Hey Mark, I know we agreed to have lunch at 12:30 today, but could we perhaps push it back to 1 o'clock? I've got a meeting that's probably going to run late. Yeah, that's really tough for me. I actually have a meeting that's starting at 1 o'clock. How about tomorrow at the same time? Tomorrow at 12:30, could we perhaps move it forward 10 minutes, 20 after? Yeah, that could work. Okay, great. Revert back. Revert back to something or someone is to return to it, to come back to this. It's quicker and it saves time than to say, "Let me get back to you on this," or "Let me get back to you." Let me revert back. Afternoon is 12:01 to 4:49 p.m. So late afternoon is about 3 to 4:49 p.m. Somewhere in the range of time. Somewhere is the range of time. Afternoon is typically right after noon, so 12:01, and noon ends about 5 o'clock. So we say that afternoon is a range between about 12:01 and 4:49 p.m. Somewhere in the is an expression for the approximation, usually related to a location. For example, she got lost somewhere in the forest. We are meeting somewhere in the city. We're going camping somewhere in the mountains. Here, it's not a physical location, but an approximation of time. Somewhere in the late afternoon. Will do. Will do is a short reply for I will do this, I will do that, I will do it. Thanks for watching. Download the free PDF so you can review these topics at your convenience.